It's funny when you talk to someone about your business that's new and how long you can talk. I don't know if you ever caught yourself. That's all content. Now, you can't put that in one post. That's enough posts for probably a month's worth of content. You just take little snippets of what you said and how you do it, and how not only do you, I'm going to use the chiropractic analogies, adjust a child, adjust a baby, adjust an adult, adjust the weekend warrior, that's all different content. And then once you get to the weekend warrior, how many things are you doing for them? How many injuries do they have? How many different parts of the body are there? I mean, there's just so much you can do. So it doesn't matter what your industry is. Just think about a conversation you would have with someone new, not your elevator pitch, but someone who you had time to sit down with for half an hour over a coffee and tell them about what you do. That's tons of content. It's a great starting point for most people.
Hey, if you ever struggled with the concept of social media marketing, and I don't mean like just the concept of like it exists and you need help, but like maybe you try to do it on your own. Right. That's a whole other beast than a lot of the guests that we talk to here on the None of Your Business podcast who have agencies, right? So all you do is you hire them, they know what they're doing, and they take it from there. But what if you're trying to DIY? You're trying to do it yourself. And you've watched a ton of these YouTube videos, and I know why you would do it yourself. You're just starting out, or maybe you also are just trying to get your feet wet. You're not, why would I spend all of this money with an agency? I don't even know if this is going to work for me. So you go the do-it-yourself route. Nothing wrong with that, except it can be extremely frustrating. It can be extremely complex. All of our agency friends are like, that's why you hire an agency. Right. I get it. But look, we need to talk to someone who will help us if we are trying to go it alone for a myriad of reasons, and we'll talk about that. And so today, we decided to call on our great friend, Dr. Enrico Dolcecore. He has been a part of our world for a very long time, and he has developed an incredible program that is helping people to figure out this whole social media thing from a marketing standpoint, not just how to post pictures of your food.
Right.
And so let's bring on Dr. Enrico Dolcecore. One of the things I'm going to skip, I'm not going to skip, but I'm going to bump our initial question always, because in our prep, you said something really interesting. So I just want to make sure we get this out of the way right up front. If you spell his name right, you're going to be able to find him everywhere. Enrico, Enrico, Dolcecore, Dolcecore. Did I get it right?
You nailed it.
Nailed it. I know.
I hope everybody's like, you just rewind the podcast, write it out. Facebook, Instagram, Google. You type it in?
He will be.
That's him.
Nobody else. That's him.
That's him. There he is.
No mistaking it for anybody else. Yeah.
Enrico, welcome to the None of Your Business podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So we always start off with, tell us how we ended up here. Because look, we're going to talk about digital marketing, and we're going to talk especially about how someone could tackle this on their own. And invariably, I mean, anytime we're doing an interview, I know what people are thinking, and that's why they tune in. Like right away, they're like, oh, well, of course it's easy because Enrico, probably his uncle works at Facebook or so, right? How did you end up being an expert in this, and how do you end up here talking to us on the podcast?
Yeah, just to keep it short, I mean, the story is the reason why I ended up doing this, and I've been lucky to meet you early on because of this story. I ran a practice in Canada for many years after graduating from chiropractic school, and not once touched social media. It was, that's how old I guess I am. Referral, screenings, in the community, hosting events, always have something to have your, patients come to in the office. We were doing those things. And then social media was like have a happy Mother's Day, and then Merry Christmas. There's like 4 posts a year on our Facebook page. Wasn't engaging. And my wife and I decided, hey, let's move somewhere warm. So we're in Florida now. But in that, I became an associate. Thought I could associate. It'd be great. Started working with these guys, and I show up here with like 2 kids and my 2 suitcases, and he's like, go get new patients. I'm like, that's not the agreement we had. You said you had a busy practice, man. So sitting there as an associate on the computer, I'm like, man, I should probably do some of this Facebook stuff. And I had time to watch the videos, the YouTube videos, the Brunsons, the click funnels, the hacking funnels. And anyways, over a couple months, I was getting like 25 leads a week. That's when, Facebook was great, back in 2017, 2018. And the doc that hired me was like, man, dude, you're a golden goose, you're laying golden eggs. I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm opening up my own practice because I did not know about this, a year ago. So, but the few people that were following me from my classmates online were like, what are you doing? How are you getting 10 new patients a week? I'm like, well, this is how you do it. And I was helping them for free. My wife and you and Lacey don't do stuff for free. So I created this, and it's delayed. I mean, we're talking about Facebook ads in 2022. I should have done this, 3 years ago when I first started with you guys. But that's the story in the nutshell. I did it myself. I got burned, and in the test and trialing and being successful and opening up my own practice, I started, hiring those guys. I'm like, hey guys, agency, take it over. Let's go. And they were getting worse results than I was. So, and I just hired another one 3 months. I tell my clients that I coach now, I'm like, listen, I keep hiring. I'm still listening to the same people you're listening to that are all on Facebook saying, I get all these leads like I did. But at least I came from an authentic place. And my classmates were like, I know that guy. I trust that guy. What are you doing? And I truly helped all of them. And now they're doing it on their own or doing their agency stuff. That's fine. When that was it for me was when we got to that point.
Yeah, I think it's really important point that you talk about is that you had never even done anything on social media when you figured all of this out. I mean, you were doing the typical posts where they're the, hey, happy holidays every once in a while. And it's probably the same photo that you use year after year. I've seen a lot of Facebook business pages like that. So I think a lot of people get hesitant because they're like, man, I barely know how to use Facebook. I don't post a lot on Facebook. I don't think that I could tackle this or take this on by myself. But you did just that. And then you created a program for people to do just that. So what would you say to somebody that is hesitant because they don't think that they can do this, even with what you provide?
Right. And Sean nailed it at the beginning. Typically like a startup or somebody who wants to get their feet wet or is apprehensive of hiring these marketers. I mean, like I was saying, these people I hire, $1,500, $2,500 a month. And yeah, they're cookie cutting your ads for you and doing it. But the last guy that I hired, he's a good guy. A lot of people use him too. He's like, dude, after a month, can I use your ad copy from your last ads? They're doing better than the ones I'm creating. I'm like, and you want me to, you're gonna auto debit my account for that? He's like, oh, I guess I shouldn't. I'm like, no, yeah, you probably shouldn't. You could do it for free and see what kind of results you get. He agreed to it. And then after that, I was like, well, I think this is where we separate. And he's like, yeah, I agree. Okay, good stuff. But for us, it was, getting started and not having the funds to hire marketing. I think we're not structured at the beginning, especially as chiropractors. We're lousy entrepreneurs. We just are. I think doctors too. I've got a couple of people I coach that are, not in chiropractic, but in healthcare. We're just bad entrepreneurs because we don't budget this stuff even in our marketing plans that we give to the banks to give us money. There is no marketing budget. And if you do, kudos to you. Please add $30K to that for it so you can actually start your business, because you put in the equipment, you put in this, and then you put $5,000 for marketing because you think you're just going to hand out some postcards and be successful. It doesn't work that way. So I think that's why we're cutting corners at the beginning. And now what we're getting are people like, I need to do this in-house because these agencies are cookie cutters. They're not really unique to my niche. They're not addressing my ideal client. I want to try it myself. There's a lot of reasons why we get this.
Well, you said something so important, and I think it's really interesting, and I hope that people didn't miss it. So I want to point it out. You said that the last guy that you worked with, he came to you and he said, your ads were working better because of your copy. And I like what you said there. All these other agencies, they're cookie cutter, which means they're not speaking into the ideal client, the person that you're trying to serve. So what advice do you have for somebody? Because I think that's important. You can do it better because you know that ideal client. So what advice do you have for somebody that's, again, not maybe getting results, and maybe it's because of the copy, or how do they figure that out?
I don't think you have to be, an award-winning author to write copy. I think it comes down to consistency that makes your copy so good. It's because you got to build that, like round and round we go, and all the things I learned through you guys. I mean, this is credited to my coaches, and you guys have been my coaches for years. So, but that's where it all comes down, is being consistent in your message. Like Lacey said earlier, I don't use social media. I've been very vacant in my social media. I only have the Facebook account. We barely use it. Where do I start? And it's about just being consistent on posting about who you are, what you do, and why you do it, and just keep cycling through that over and over again for free. It's just posting to social media. Social media is free, and then you can get into some unique ways on how you can build that and get an audience going. And that's where Facebook ads come into play, where you can then boost it to your community. You can do daily boosts, weekly boosts, then you get into the ads manager account, and then you get into like following policy and making sure that you have, but the content, it doesn't matter. I think it's because it's my business, so no one cares about it more than me. And I'm writing the content, so that energy cannot be replicated by anyone else on the face of the planet. It comes a long way. So you get the middle ground entrepreneur who doesn't have time for this, and I tell them you have to make time for it. It's funny, the things we're consistent at, and I'm learning this, is we wake up every day the same time to go to work, and we're very consistent. We drive the same car, we park in the same parking spot. That's consistency, but we don't consider that consistency because it's our job. We have to do it, just like kids that go to school. Got to go to school, but that's being consistent. You have to relay this to your social media and what you do in your business as well. That has to be in your calendar as well. Wake up, drink a sip of coffee, brush my teeth, get in the car, get to work. When I get to work, 15 minutes of social media, content creation, shooting a video. That might be your Monday. You don't have to do that every single day. But it was in that organically happening that really kicked off our social media. And we don't have tens of thousands of people following us either. We don't want tens of thousands of people following us. We filter our Facebook. I go through it all the time, and all those chiros that follow me from across Canada, I delete them. Sorry, guys. But I delete them because when I do my Facebook ads and my lookalike audiences, I don't want to be paying for them to click on it because they're curious about what the ad says. I want to be targeting my demographic because I have a brick and mortar business.
Let's go to that consistency. And you had talked about, get to work 15 minutes of social media. And for a lot of people, what makes that so hard is that they heard like scroll for 15 minutes and look at other people's stuff. But you said content creation. And so that's where people get hung up. I mean, all over the place, like, I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to put. Any tips on what we should say or what we should put?
Copy and paste, swipe and deploy, as you say. I mean, you follow all these other chiropractors, you follow all these other businesses that are doing what you do. They are taking images from whatever, unless they're organic of their face. Don't take that. But they're using their businesses, they're using props, they're using things. Take that exact same thing and take the picture and swipe it and deploy. I don't know how much I've used the Chris Rock meme with Will Smith this last month because it's just hot and everyone does all these great little memes with it. It's perfect for my business, whether it's the weight loss program or the chiropractic program or whatever. You can swipe and deploy this stuff. For me, when I say 15 minutes, I truly mean I spend no more than 10 to 15 minutes just putting up a post or two. And the more you end up doing, the more your calendar becomes a beast, and you have to master that beast because it can become tedious. And I know with the clients that I help, they run into issues with time. Time is always something that comes up.
What do you think for the person that's just getting started? What do you think their expectations should be? Because I know I talk to a lot of people and they just start on social media. Like you're saying consistency. Consistency doesn't mean, well, I did it for 5 days and nobody's liking my posts or calling the office. So can you kind of clarify what those realistic expectations would be for somebody that's just getting started and learning how to do this?
Yeah, like for me, I just use my story, the 4 posts a year. I mean, anything more than that is better than the 4 posts we did last year. So even if you miss a day, it's not a big thing, but just posting about what you do. It's funny when you talk to someone about your business that's new and how long you can talk. I don't know if you ever caught yourself. That's all content. Now you can't put that in one post. That's enough posts. for probably a month's worth of content. You just take little snippets of what you said and how you do it, and how not only do you, I'm going to use the chiropractic analogies, adjust a child, adjust a baby, adjust an adult, adjust the weekend warrior, that's all different content. And then once you get to the weekend warrior, how many things are you doing for them? How many injuries do they have? How many different parts of the body are there? I mean, there's just so much you can do. So it doesn't matter what your industry is. Just think about a conversation you would have with someone new, not your elevator pitch, but someone who you had time to sit down with for half an hour over a coffee and tell them about what you do. That's tons of content. It's a great starting point for most people.
Okay, so earlier you said we make the content when consistency was key. So we get consistent on that. And I would say to anybody listening, that's being step number one. That's where we start. So we still don't have a lot of reach. We don't have a lot of engagement, but at least we're being consistent with our content. But now we want to reach a lot of people, and then we eventually want to convert. Earlier you talked about boosting. You had different time frames of boosting. Explain to us sort of what your philosophies are on boosting the content.
Right. Good point. I mean, there's two ways to have 3 million followers where you don't have to spend a cent. You just keep pitching your sale every now and then ad nauseum, and you will keep having fish that bite because you got 3 million followers. But for the rest of us that have 500 or 100 or 1,000, whatever it may be, followers, that's where the power of ads comes in, and why social media took over a huge chunk of the advertising industry is because they can then distribute your message to unfollowers or non-followers of your group and people targeted in your area. So the small bites you can do is just, if you have a post that you're posting, and it's always the funny one, it's always the one you thought no one was going to care about, you going for a walk with your dog and you're like, hey, have you guys ever checked out this park up the street? You might work close to your clinic or live close to your clinic or your business. You take your dog around a common park that you may know that others don't, and then you get all this I love that park. Our kids love that park. We take our dog to that park, and there's like 40 likes, 5 comments, and most of your posts get like 2 comments, or not even, no comments and 2 likes. That's most commonly what I get on my social media. Is most people don't like it. It doesn't matter. Don't be looking at the likes, because even when you run an ad, our most successful ads barely have any likes or comments on them. They just get a ton of leads, and that's all I care about as a business. So those metrics are non-important when it comes to using the ads manager on the Facebook model and the Instagram model.
They call those the vanity metrics, right?
Right.
Like,
Vanity metrics. Those are the dopamine metrics.
Right.
Yeah, well, I think that's interesting because a lot of people do base how the performance is on the engagement level, but really we should just be basing the performance on, is it actually doing what it's supposed to?
Right. So one of those posts may be like, wow, you get those 5 comments about, hey, I take my dog there too, and my kids love it as well. That might be one I post or a boost. That's when I might say, hey, I'm going to put $10. I'm going to boost this for 10 days, or I'm going to boost it for 5 days. And then see what happens there. And then now you can build metrics. You can look at that and be like, okay, I got a 55 organic reach and 355 paid reach. That's great. So I know my $10 will reach about 300 people on just a dog walk in the park boost. And then when you get to your information, that's where content becomes valuable. I started with just videos like this, setting up my iPhone in my clinic with that exact mountain range that was in my office behind me, and just started talking. Some videos were 1 minute, some videos were 5 minutes, some videos were 22 minutes about sciatica. I just got carried away and I talked about them. Then once you have content, that's where it's key. You can blast this on everything. So you might just be starting on Facebook, but then you can put it to your YouTube, you can put it to your Instagram, you can put it to your TikTok, you can put it to your blog, you can extract the audio from it, you can create your own podcast later. There's so many ways of doing this. And that's where I get caught up as a coach. Like, do you do all that, Enrico? I'm like, no. I don't have time for that. I'm in the same boat as you are, and I'm doing the things that are good for me now to build my business to where it is now. Now, as we cross another bridge, we'll do more and different things. But for everyone, no matter where you're at your boat, on your boat in the sea, it's either a startup mode where you don't have the funds, or you're in a boat where you're just like, these guys are, these agencies are not working for me. I have a unique thing, and that's where I think I get like the upper cervical group and those unique people that have niches is like, yeah, these cookie cutters don't work for me because I'm not willing to give away, whatever the promo $29 initial fee is. Most upper cervical guys are like, no, I'm not going to do that.
So what would you say, because I know a lot of people overthink this concept. They are worried about putting personal content out on social media. We talk a lot about that with other social media people that have been on here. What kind of balance do you think that people should have between just pushing out all content about my business, the things that I do, the things that I help, and the personal stuff like the dog walk in the park?
Yeah, it's based on your comfort zone. There is no right or wrong answer when it comes to the content that you put out there. If you're an introverted, analytical person, it may be very quick tips on what you do and in your business and how you can be more successful doing those things. And keep it all business. If you're an extroverted driver that is willing to do it all, you may talk about, the color of underwear you're wearing today. It doesn't matter the content that's going out there. It's the engagement and the reach that you want to try and get over time. And that's what consistency is. Consistency is just an extrapolation of time. The more consistent you are over time equals a result.
So let's talk a little bit about the course. So this is all great. Somebody who fits the bill is probably feverishly taking notes. Wait, what'd you say again? And oh yeah, I need to write the content. Other people,
how do I do that? When do I boost? A
lot of people are like, oh no, I already know this, and that's great. This is just reaffirmation for you. And other people are like, well, I have my agency that I hired takes care of this. That's great if you're getting great results.
Yep.
But if you are in the first camp where you are like, oh yeah, this is what I need to do. Tell us about how you help people. What are some of the offerings? How do you deliver the results to them? What kind of results can they expect when working with you?
Yeah, they get, I inverted this when I started the program. I created a Kajabi course program where it was easy. Just click on the videos. Some of them are 2 minutes. Some of them, the longest one is 45 minutes. It says, watch this if you don't want to watch the entire course. And it takes you on how to set up your account right to creating an ad right to the end and following through with it and how to read the metrics. So you can watch that one video or you can watch the 22 videos that I took time to produce for you, for your education. But they're just step by step. And module 1 is the beginning. Let's say you've never had a social media account. It's how to open up your Facebook account, have a business page to get likes, to set up your credit card, your billing info. Most people jump to module 2. And that's where you learn about how to set up Facebook ads. Then we have module 3, which is evolving still as we continue to grow, and it's 2022. Where there's extras, Google Ads, YouTube, creating a YouTube channel, using automation, emails, campaigns, automation posts for your social media. So you don't have to go in every Monday morning for 15 minutes creating posts. You can then use later.com, hosting websites, all these other options that are out there. And I have a HIPAA compliant marketing slideshow in there as well in module 2 to keep you compliant that kind of covers all of North American areas to make sure that you Medicare, fee splitting, yada, yada, yada. It covers all that and making sure that the ads that you put out will never get you in trouble with Facebook. So we've gone deeper. It's an all immersive book that is made into a course on Kajabi that you can watch. And that's where the success comes from is people watch it. I wish they would watch 100% of it. They don't, but they take the 30% that they want and they go run their ads and they send me an email. They're like, it's working. I'm like, great. And then I coach. So what we've inverted now for 2022 is I coach, period. You just get the course, the book. I throw you the book for free as you coach with me because that's the staple. And that's where I got that early success was like, hey, Enrico, how are you getting that success? It wasn't my course. It didn't even exist at that time. It was me telling them what to do. Right. On that. So and that's evolving now, and that's where we're getting a lot of the success. Like do this, and in the background, here's this course that's yours forever. And if you have any questions, it's 10:30 at night. I'm probably sleeping. Go check out the course, and your answers are going to be in there.
I'm thinking about another person that this might be really good for is the business owner, entrepreneur that actually is not a startup that has been hiring, much like yourself. And many people that we know hiring agency after agency after agency, and they're using an agency because they don't have time, but they do have employees. Because this could be something that if you had the right employee in your office, they could go through the program, they could learn, they could coach with Enrico, and then that way you would have more control over the ads that you're putting out. Because like you said, the magic isn't just in, setting up the ad in the background. A lot of people can do that. The magic is in the consistency and your voice and your ability to tell your story and the things that you do to your target audience. And so having the right employee and maybe you're fed up, this might be a right next move for you so that you can use your voice and your message.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that the clients that I'm coaching right now all have dropped their marketing agencies, but that was their goal prior to hiring me. That's right. What got them curious as to saying, yeah, let's work with you rather than the marketing agency. So my first question when I work with people is like, how much are you paying them and how much are you spending on ads? And it's always paying the agency more than their ad spend. I'm like, that makes no sense. Drop the agency, put it all into your ads, and I'm going to double your results. I'm not going to do anything. Your results are just going to double, unless they're horrible. 0 times anything equals 0. But if you're doing anything, you double it, you're going to double your results. So, and then they get it, and they're like, okay, maybe I should know it. And then if they are a busy entrepreneur, they just give it to their staff. It is a turnkey thing. So half of my clients I'm getting the CAs calling in or their assistants calling in about the questions about the program. And that's exactly what I designed it to do, is just be a turnkey thing that you can give to anyone in your industry or in your business to do it for you.
You mentioned earlier about the policies. What are some of the biggest mistakes that people make, and what do you do when your account gets shut down or your profile gets taken? All those are things that we've heard of that hopefully nobody will ever experience. But is that part of your coaching as well? Are you able to help people out of that situation?
Yeah, we work on it together. It's about being persistent. I'll give you the answer right now if you're listening to the podcast. It's being persistent with the platform that has deactivated your account, unless you've truly broken a rule. And it's usually race, politics, discrimination based. If it's flat out a racist comment that you made, well, I'm not going to help you, first of all. And 2, you're in trouble. So just figure it out. But most people get in trouble because of assimilated issues. Like they say like, hey, this can help with your fill in the blank pain, tinnitus, autism, this condition. And Facebook flags that as like a discriminatory thing. And that's the most common reason people get shut down. They said something against the policies, which is a vague area still. They're evolving it all the time and changing it all the time, which is an issue with that as well. So first off, prevention is key in everything, both health, wellness, and business. So when it comes to advertising, always have backup accounts. My wife has accounts, ads manager accounts. We've never had to use them, but they're there in case mine gets shut down. Tomorrow morning, I'm just copying, pasting it, and we're off to the races there. So that's the best tip of advice I have there. But yeah, we can coach you through that. It's being persistent. It's about staying with them, asking them for answers as to why and how you can improve that to not make the mistake again. And that's what they were looking to hear, is like, okay, they're not going to make that mistake again. Let's reactivate their account.
Yes. The website's www.enricodolcecore.com.
Marketing.
Oh, EnricoDolcecoreMarketing.com.
Yes.
How come you don't have EnricoDolcecore.com? That would have been easier.
Yeah, I should.
You said there's not another one.
Get that? Yeah. Nobody should have that.
Yeah.
We don't have to say the marketing part, but don't go to that one because it doesn't exist. Enrico Dolcecore Marketing.
I'm going to go get that right now.
Enrico, yeah, we'll just cue it up and then you can go there. He's going to get it by the time this airs. You can go there too. And then you'll find them. All the social channels, Enrico Dolcecore. Just make sure you spell it right. You'll find him. He's the only one. He's the best one. He can help you with your marketing. So we strongly encourage you to look him up. Plug in. And I even think, we always teach too on all aspects of your business that you need to know how to do it.
I was just going to say that. It's so funny. I was thinking the exact same thing.
And you're not going to be good at it. Like I couldn't ever do James's job as good as James. But if I just was like, I have no idea what James does.
And having a little bit of knowledge in this though. So
same thing with you guys that are doing marketing and you're like, I have no idea what my agency does. Well, just like Enrico was saying, what if something gets messed up with your account, your ad account gets shut down and your agency is like, well, that's it. Like you don't even know anything that's going on and you have no ability, like he was saying, to copy and paste, to, open up a new account. You have no idea. All you could do is just get another agency, I guess, if your initial agency left you high and dry, which they probably would, I would imagine, because why would they just sit there and keep charging you while you're fiddling around trying to figure out why your account got shut down?
Yeah.
You should know this stuff.
Well, if anything, you should just get the course so if you have an agency, so that you know that they're actually doing a good job.
Check their work.
Like how you could check their work. I mean, honestly, a lot of people ask us, like, how do I know if this is working or not? When should I let somebody go that they've hired? Like, when's the appropriate time? Well, if you had a little bit of knowledge under your belt and a little bit of insight, where you could go in and check these things and see if the audiences are set up correctly, or there's weird things in your ads manager, you should be able to look at that and say, they're not doing their job, they're not paying attention, that's why I'm not getting the leads I should. And if you can do that, there's power in that, and you'll make your money back on the course by just doing that.
Enrico, did we miss anything?
No, and we're staying on top of it. That's the last question I always get, is like, well, it's always changing. I'm like, yeah, so is the course. I'm always updating. We got TikTok now. We got Google Ads Performance Max. We got, and now what position I've been put in, thanks to you guys and being super successful in my business, is I get to stay on the cutting edge now. And I get to hire people to make sure that we're staying on the cutting edge now. It's pretty cool how it can all evolve. So yes, that's the question I get. Well, things change. Yes. And I'll be on top of it. We'll update the videos, and as long as you keep your Kajabi password, you are good to go.
I love it.
Absolutely incredible. Enrico, thank you so much for being with us on the None of Your Business podcast. Check him out, Enrico Dolcecore marketing.com or EnricoDolcecore.com. You can go there by the time this airs. He's going to have that all sorted out.
The pressio's on.
I'm glad Daddy. Here we go.
Not something else there, because that was just like lunch meats or something.
No, we're good. I'm going to go get it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check out Enrico's work. You're going to absolutely love it. It's going to help you to expand and grow your business, even if it's just expanding and growing your knowledge base relative to how you can actually leverage these tools to reach more people, make an even bigger impact, and to create the lifestyle of your dreams. It's going to be well worth it. Be sure that you join us again next week. We're going to do it again. We're going to have someone else on, and we're going to break down a brand new topic, and we're going to help you to further grow and expand your business. You don't want to miss it. Check us out next week. Until then, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the None of Your Business podcast.